Speak of the devil.
Shall appear.
Good evening. Welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting of September 18th, 2024. For those that are trying to get on Zoom, the Zoom information on the website is wrong. You must open the the agenda, and then use the web information on the agenda. Was I clear on that one? So use the web information on the agenda, not what's on the page on the website. Okay, thank you. The Wareham Conservation Commission will hold a meeting under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Division 6, and any other applicable laws. All hearings of the Wareham Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Division 6. Although a single decision of the Commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. All matters listed may involve a decision and possible vote. I call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Please, roll call. Start.
Scott Sobey.
Paula Jean O'Neill.
Autumn Wood.
Sandy Slavin.
Kwame Bardi.
Michael Mercier.
Denise Schultz.
Joseph Still.
Josh Verity, and I swear to tell the truth on all matters presented in front of the commission this evening.
Thank you. So, Autumn, your turn.
Notice of public hearing. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6, a public hearing will be held in Room 520, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, on Wednesday, September 18th, 2024, at 6 p.m. On the request for determination of applicability for Barry Cosgrove, 49 Blackmore Pond Circle, Wareham, Massachusetts, 02576. Demolition of dilapidated wooden summer cottage, no excavation. Map 76/1013 and 15B, 1013 and 15B, 55 Blackmore Pond Circle, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
I have that motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, we are 600. Anybody here representing this project, please come forward and identify yourself.
My name is Barry Cosgrove, property owner.
Okay. Barry, can you stay standing and put up your right hand? I swear to tell the truth and the whole truth regarding this project.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're up. Talk to us about what you want to do.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and first of all, thank you for your volunteer service to our town, sincerely. I respectfully request a negative determination 2 and 6 in connection with 55 Blackmore Pond Circle. It's a 490 square foot little shack about 80 feet away from the shore of Blackmore Pond. It's no foundation, no basement, no attic. It's completely dilapidated. It's a blight on the neighborhood. It's unsafe. The work that would be involved in demolishing would be very temporary. It'd be done in a half a day to 3/4 of a day. It would not involve altering, removing, excavating, or dredging of soil, sand, gravel, or aggregate materials of any kind. It will not change any pre-existing drainage characteristics or flushing characteristics whatsoever. It will not disturb the water or the water table. It will involve no dumping, discharging, or filling of any material which may degrade water quality. It will not involve the placing of fill or removal of material which would alter elevation. There'll be no driving of piles, erection, or repair of buildings or structures of any kind. There'll be no placing of obstructions in the water. There'll be no destruction of plant life, including cutting of trees in the protected area. No changing temperature, biochemical, or oxygen demand, or other physical, biological, or chemical characteristics of the waters. There will be no activities, changes, or works which would cause or tend to cause to contribute to any pollution of Blackmore Pond or the groundwater. And there will be no incremental activities which have or may have a cumulative adverse effect on the resource area protected by your bylaw. As for precautions, we're using a licensed, bonded professional Demolition Company. They're going to put the dumpster as far away from the pond and as close to the road as they can. They're going to work from the pond towards the road, always trying to move away. Needless to say, we would be happy to put down straw or whatever materials you think would be an added excess of caution. The house is not 75 years old, according to the town records. I have two, if you've seen it, you probably wouldn't believe it, but it isn't. I have two letters, if I could read into the record, each from the abutting neighbors right next door. The first letter is from Lawrence and Dorothea Eyre, team members of the Wareham Conservation Commission. As owners of 59 Blackmore Pond Circle, we are immediately next door to 55 Blackmore Pond Circle. By this letter, we respectfully request that you approve the demolition of this dilapidated structure. This tiny wooden structure has been neglected for years and has become a blight on our neighborhood. We have full confidence Mr. Cosgrove will ensure that his licensed contractor conducts the demolition properly, promptly, professionally, safely, and appropriately. We understand and appreciate the importance of your role in maintaining the integrity of our community. Thank you for your consideration. And finally, from the neighbor immediately on the other side, Mr. and Mrs. John Whitcomb. Dear Conservation Commission, I'm writing to express my support for my neighbor's request to demolish their newly acquired house, which has unfortunately fallen into a deplorable state of disrepair. This home at 55 Blackmore Pond Circle has been neglected for several years, resulting in rotten structural areas, holes in the floor, trees growing in the roofs, windows that no longer close. This not only poses a significant safety hazard, but also risks attracting vermin. Additionally, the house has become an eyesore, negatively impacting the surrounding properties. I kindly request your consideration of this matter for the safety and well-being of our neighborhood. Thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions you
Thank
may
you,
have.
and I will ask if there are questions. Joe, you first.
Do you plan on taking this down with what kind of equipment?
The equipment will be a large dumpster. They're expecting it to be 2 runs, 30 yards, does that sound right? Size dumpster? And it's a small excavator with a claw. Actually a very small machine. If you've had a chance to see the place, you could probably take it down with a baseball bat. But it's a small machine.
Okay. And then all that debris is getting moved right to that dumpster?
All that junk is going,
So I didn't get a chance to pull the public record. How old is the house?
it was built in 1950.
1950, okay. There any sign of like asbestos and stuff like that? in the
There
wall?
was. We hired a professional asbestos company to test it. They found a small section of linoleum in the kitchen. There was about 5 by 4. It was professionally removed, and we have the certification that happened. They took all the boards right out of the, if you've seen it, it's all the now of the
Yeah, y'all
joists.
gotta bag it.
Yeah, and they bagged it and took it away. And that was a requirement for the permit, the other requirements of the permit.
Okay, no further questions.
Thank you.
Denise?
In the yard, I saw that there are some chairs and things like that. Is that going to be taken off, or are they going to be stored somewhere?
I beg your pardon, I didn't hear you.
Chairs that are in the yard,
Yeah, all that's going in the
it's
dumpster.
all going in the dumpster?
Everything,
Okay.
everything.
Are you planning on building something else
No,
there, or it's
not
just
at
going
the
to be?
present time.
Okay. And you're not planning on planting anything there, just leaving it
No.
as it is? Okay. And you said you will be using straw wattles or not?
If you'd like, absolutely.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Michael?
No questions, thank you.
Kwame?
No questions, thank you.
Autumn?
For erosion control, straw wattles are preferred.
I'm sorry, please?
Erosion controls, please use straw wattles because hay brings invasive species. So when you do place those, we request that you don't use hay bales.
Okay, so it's what are they called so I can tell the guy?
Straw wattles?
Straw bottles?
Wattles.
Wattles.
They're
Yeah.
round things that
Oh,
you...
I've seen those things,
Yes.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Yep.
not the hay bales, the straw
Correct.
bottles.
Correct.
Will do,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Paula Jean?
I have 2 questions that I had not thought of when I was there looking at the property, and you so kindly gave me a tour of it. One just now I thought of, when the building is gone, what about spreading some kind of seed on the footprint of the building? Because that's just going to be bare, raw earth.
I'd be glad to do that. I don't know that it would grow because it's all sand, but I'm happy to
Well,
put some down.
Whatever, it could be some scroungy kind of grass or whatever, stuff that grows around the...
Sure,
where
absolutely.
there's no sun, and it's sand. That would be great. My bigger question is, when you talked about demoing just now, I had an experience with some large buildings being demoed several years ago, and the demo company came in and put down rodenticide boxes all over the property. There were actually 52 of them. Myself and others saw them and were like, what is this? And then we found out what it was. We worked our way up the food chain, and they did remove them. I think I don't have to tell everyone here about the harms of rodenticide, how that a mouse doesn't just have a bite and die, it gets sicker every day, and raptors eat it.
Are you asking if there's going to be mouse traps on the property?
I'm asking if there's gonna be anything done, and I certainly hope it won't be rodenticide boxes.
No plans to do that, no.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you.
Scott?
There's a garden shed on the property as well, within the 30-foot no-activity zone. Is that part of what's going to be removed as well?
No, that's the only thing that's of any value. I'm hoping to keep that.
Would it be too much to ask to move it off of that 30-foot no-activity zone back into the, closer to where the house is presently?
I don't know that, how would you do that?
Well, I shouldn't be giving advice, but I would just pull it with the digger while you have it, or the excavator, but, you know.
Yeah, I need that shed for a lot of things, not the least of which is a huge, what's the word, wood stove in there, and flume that's worth a lot of money. I'd like to be able to lock that up, and there's boats and some things that we could use that for. It's really quite small. It's kind of off to the side. If I take it and move it back, I'm creating the eyesore that, you know, the whole neighborhood's been griping about.
Was the shed permitted in the first place?
Well, I'm sure it's a pre-existing non-conforming, you know, going back to wherever. I didn't build it or put it there.
So if the house was built in 1950, more than likely the shed went with it?
I don't know.
I have no idea, because there's been nothing in front of, I remember nothing coming in for that shed. It was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always been there.
So it's grandfathered in.
Since I was a kid, it's always been there.
It's a relatively new construction. It looks like it's pre-built and just dropped on the property.
Yeah,
Are you aware of it?
I can tell you it's been there as long as I can conceivably remember. I live right next door. We own property there. I can't tell you the day they placed it there, but I can tell you it's been there as long as I can remember.
Do we have a picture of the shed, Josh? So that's not an old shed. It's as Scott has described it, and it really, if he's stating that it's in the no-activity zone, then it really has to move out of the no-activity zone.
Okay.
Just pull it back out of that area.
Yeah, but what is its foundation? What's it sitting
I
on?
think it's just sitting on cinder blocks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looks like there's a
just look
cinder
at the
block.
picture, it's
Yeah,
just
that's it
cinder
right there.
blocks.
It's on this property.
Please?
It's on this property,
Yes, it is.
yes. I have questions. Anything else, Scott? Was there water to this property at one time?
Only well water, not city.
Okay, has that been disconnected?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now I see a cesspool on your sketch. Is there a
Yes.
cesspool there?
Yes, it was.
What do you plan to do with it?
We had a professional inspect it. It's dry as a bone. We contacted the Board of Health. We said, do you want us to smash it up? What do you want us to do? And they said, unless you're going to use it again, you don't have to do anything to it, and we don't plan to use it. So it's planning to just leave it right there. If you want us to smash it up and fill it in, we'll do that.
I would like to see it filled. But that's just me. You've answered my question on the hazardous material in the house, because I was worried about the toxin and I was worried about the septic. Is there anybody in the audience or here that would like to comment on this project? Josh, it's your turn to comment.
I just had questions about the shed, but it sounds like the commission would like to see an erosion control, so I would suggest that you put that up, probably between the shed and the house.
Okay?
But I'm hearing some comments that the shed is to be moved.
The aerials show that the shed has been there since at least 2016.
Okay,
When
that was
you're-
before our bylaw changed for the 30-foot no-work zone. So that's why it's there.
So,
So no moving of the shed because it was there before we changed the rules. I see no other issues or questions.
Motion to close the hearing?
I have a motion to close the
Second.
hearing and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, we're 600. The hearing is closed. Josh, your recommendation?
A -3 and a -6, and erosion controls to be placed, let's say the pond side of the shed, just in case there is a change in it being moved.
Second.
So
So,
moved?
say so moved.
So moved.
I got a so moved, I got a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, we're 600. You got it. See Josh for the paperwork before you start anything.
Thank you all.
And everybody will be pleased. And thank you for noticing the 75-year historical commission requirement on all demos.
So I see Josh,
And probably early next week.
thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, next one, please.
On the request for notice of intent for Jeff and Renee Hunt, 80 Pinehurst Drive, Wareham, Massachusetts. Installation of a sheet pile seawall to replace an existing concrete seawall, map 46A-1, lot 34B, 35, 36, 80 Pinehurst Drive, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
I have that motion. I heard a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain. And who's here representing this project? Come forward and identify yourselves.
Sam Iamele with JC Engineering. Jeff Hunt, homeowner.
And Sam, it's I-A-M-E-L-E. And Jeff, I
H-U-N-T.
swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth regarding this project at 80 Pinehurst Drive. Thank you.
I do.
All done. All right. Sam, I guess you're up. Talk to us about it.
I do have some plans here, if Commission would like some copies.
Are they different than what was submitted earlier? Okay.
Okay.
Are they big plans or little plans?
They're in between.
Anybody want a copy other than what we got online?
Sure.
I'll also take one as well, thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The property here, 80 Pinehurst Drive, has an existing single-family dwelling, and the lot backs to the Wareham River. Currently, there is an existing concrete seawall that spans across the back portion of the lot, approximately 107 feet in this section of the lot, and stands about 6 feet tall. The wall is currently failing, and the owner wishes to take action to repair the wall. After reviewing the scenario with our team, local contractors, and product manufacturers, we are proposing a vinyl sheet pile wall as the best solution. These sheet piling walls are becoming very common for seawall repairs and are specifically designed and engineered to serve as seawalls. Some of the benefits are they're cost-effective, easy to install, weather-resistant, and have said to have a longer service life than most other materials. We are proposing to leave a majority of the existing concrete wall and construct this new wall directly adjacent to the seaward side of the existing wall. By doing so, this is going to help minimize the excavation needed, removing the existing wall, and should help minimize the sediment erosion into the ocean by removing that wall and then needing to now temporarily stabilize the grade. And another one of the biggest concerns here is the proximity of the existing house to this existing wall is only 8 to 9 feet in most areas there. And by removing the wall would bring up major concerns for having the soil undermined for the foundation there. Excavation, a majority is proposed to be done on the landward side of the wall using an excavator, but we would anticipate a small portion of the northern section is hard to gain access to, and we would expect to use a barge for that section there. Other than that, Jeff, did you have anything you wanted to state?
I guess so you covered the where,
Yep.
and the why. Just to let you know who I am, I'm a new homeowner here of this home in Wareham, formerly a resident or having a home in Onset in Wareham for 18 years on Onset Island. I'm also a board member for Calusa Waterkeepers, which is very similar to Buzzards Bay Coalition. So you're dealing with a person who cares about the water, cares about the environment, and I recognize when I purchased the home, the seawall was failing, or is failing, and it's going to create a real problem with the foundation of the home. So as Sam had mentioned, I talked to local contractors and an engineering firm to come up with a suitable solution that kind of is the least disruptive and is a modern material that seems to have at least their claim is to have as long or a longer life than concrete or steel or wood. So,
I have a quick question.
Sure.
How does it feel to be able to drive to get your groceries as opposed to boat to get your groceries?
that's a great question. And after 18 years, I'm thrilled not to have to carry everything all in one load. You know, it's the wheelbarrow and the rowboat was pretty tough.
Sorry, if it just, I've never met anybody who had lived on Onset Island for so long because it is such a unique place. Yes, oh, thank you.
It really was, and was surrounded by just a lovely bay there, and so.
Okay, Joe, your turn.
I do just have to ask, was that your house that went on market on the island over there?
Not now, no. I sold it in, I think it was 2018.
Okay, gotcha. No, I just saw something go up on the island over
Yeah.
there. No, I have no questions.
Denise?
There's the wall, and then down below the wall, there's another lip that sticks out. What's going on with all of that?
Yeah, sure. So that's the footing. It's in just sort of maybe 1/3 of the wall section there.
Correct.
So we'd be looking to just kind of build on a diagonal almost, and just go seaward of everything that's currently existing now, keeping a flush face to the wall, eliminating these existing having to have multiple jogs like the existing wall does now.
So you're going to go out as far then as it juts out at the bottom?
And then tie back into
And
where
go
it
back
exists
in.
on the left side, and then if you notice on the right side, the existing wall for the neighbor actually sticks out 8 feet further than this wall here, so we
So
wouldn't
then
be...
what are you going to fill that in with?
A majority would be sand. It mentioned possibly using some crushed stone too to help with the drainage, but mostly sand there.
Sand and crushed stone. Okay, thank you.
Michael?
Okay. I noticed in the report that the stockpiling for the material is going to be on the property. Is that correct, or somewhere else?
For equipment, there's over on the right here side, I have a pretty sizable yard here to stage machinery, but material would be trucked off-site.
Okay, now is it, but where? Is it going to be somewhere in the yard, or is it going to be somewhere else? Because I wasn't exactly sure where, and it wasn't really, and it didn't look like the report mentioned like, or even on the maps, like, is it going to be like on the grass somewhere, or is it going to be in one of the long like driveways in there? I just wasn't sure where, that's all.
Yeah, this, the whole right side of the house is essentially all just a grass lawn, so that would kind of be the staging area for...
So that would be the staging area for, say, materials or trucks or anything like that?
Correct.
All right. Okay, that's all I was interested in, thank you.
Kwame?
Other than it's a good design, I think I was just having a question about the abutting neighbor, but that was already answered.
Okay.
Thank you.
Autumn?
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean?
No questions, thanks.
Scott?
I see that these sheet pilings go down 8 feet below the existing grade of the, so I'm not very familiar with these sheet pilings. Can you talk a little bit about the hydrology when those are pushed down in and they overlap with each other and like hook into place with each other, right?
Yeah, they have locks that kind of connect them together. So they're driven into the ground approximately 8 feet. They're also anchored back into the earth too for additional support there. And we do have, weep holes that would allow water to drain out so it wouldn't build up hydrostatic pressure behind the wall.
So there's, so the water that builds up behind is able to flow out?
Correct, yes.
Between the
That's
panels?
what's there existing now, some weep holes in the wall, so we'd be kind of mimicking that and allowing that water to drain right out.
Okay, and could you talk a little bit about what the jet filters do?
Those were the weep holes essentially
Okay,
for
all
this
right.
type of wall.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I do have one. You mentioned storing construction material and all the equipment on the right side of the lawn. How far to that wall? Because you are pretty close to that 30-foot.
We can keep everything, you know, as far away from the wall as possible and.
I mean, I did see the driveway. The driveway was pretty big, too. I don't know if that's even a spot you guys could designate that stuff to. I would hate to see it get close to that water.
Right, we could certainly utilize that.
I have nothing.
I was concerned that there was a roof drain that ran right into the water. Is there any way of changing the direction of that water off the roof so it doesn't go down the steps?
Absolutely. If that would, is that what you'd like, I could do that for sure. I think the reason that was done was probably because this, behind the seawalls, the water's infiltrated, it's starting to get soft, and more water just makes it a little softer, but I'd be happy to move it.
Now, the pylons, the sheet, vinyl sheet will go in front of the footing, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, the footing will stay there. How far into the beach will you be putting, how many inches from the footing into the beach will these pylons be placed?
They're corrugated, and
Uh-huh.
they're 9 inches wide, so
Okay.
on the ground, 9 inches.
So theoretically, you're going to get 9 inches into your yard, expanding your yard by removing that seawall and filling that space between the existing wall and the vinyl. You're going to get an extra 9 inches. All right, now, that's land is owned by the Pinehurst Association, and is there a letter of approval of this project?
We've been in talks with them. I know Jeff's been discussing with them. You know, we're working on an easement to do the work, but we'll probably have to incorporate that when we, you know, do an easement plan.
Okay, then it says the sheet piles will be installed at a slight angle to avoid several jogs. So that will go out into the association beach further than 9 inches, correct? In order to get rid of the jog?
In some areas.
Down
yes.
by the the eastern steps, you'll be going out further into the association beach in order to get rid of the jog.
Potentially a few inches, you know, trying to keep a flush face there. You know, it may kind of arc a little bit to tie back into, you know, what's surrounding there, but no more than a few inches.
Okay. Talk to me about the 2 sets of steps.
Yes. The plan right now would be to remove a portion of the concrete there, construct these vinyl planks and almost build like a box there, so utilizing the same central footprints there, and then allowing us to construct a new staircase. I think we had talked about, you know, maybe a new set of concrete stairs down.
Will you have any footing on the beach for these stairs? Because right now, there aren't any.
Right, yeah, I don't think there was
Not in the
any.
plan.
It's a tough step down from the stairs to the beach, even if you step on the big rock. So you still have that, what, almost 18 inches?
Yeah, it's
Almost 2 feet? 18 that's a big step.
pretty good. So you have to sit on it and slide off.
So
of it.
you're not planning to extend the steps any closer to the beach than what they currently have? Yeah?
Again, that may be only just a few inches, just to, you know, get around that footing, where that footing bumps out, to get around that corner and then tie back in.
Okay. So there's no approval right now from the Pinehurst Beach Association, is that correct?
That's correct. And the reason for that, I've spoken to a representative from Pinehurst Beach Association. We were waiting to get approval, then this plan would identify the specific square feet that we would need an easement from, and then we would work with them on that easement. I think the current plan is like 400 square feet, I think.
Now, we've had an issue by doing work in the Pinehurst before that we hadn't notified all of the landowners. Who did you send your green card to?
Everybody within 100 feet of this property.
Which is not all the owners of that property. I'm just, there's been issues that everybody who owns a piece should have had a green card, but someone said it should have only been within 100 feet. I just wanted to ask the question, because somebody else, you have how many, 80, 90 owners of that property? And that's a lot of green cards. And I was just wondering if you did within 100 feet. Okay.
Yes, just 100 feet of this property.
Okay, of the land owners, not the beach owners. Okay. Anybody in the audience or online that would like to comment on this project? Please come forward and identify yourself. Before you come and sit in front of a mic, nope. You're just giving comments.
Hi, I'm Bill Manguso. I'm a new trustee for the Pinehurst Beach Improvement Association.
Thank you. Okay, and your comments?
So we've been notified a notice of intent to build this. I've been talking to the other trustees and the other officers, and the intention is to grant this easement. It's just a question of finalizing the exact amount of square footage that these guys need for their, for whatever you guys tell them to do in terms of environmental, whatever. So, because we charge by the square footage for the amount of the easement. This is what I've learned. It's $1 a square foot. Any questions? I mean, it's our intent to help the homeowner. There's a lot of homeowners there that need to fix their walls. If they can't fix their walls, they're in trouble, and then we're in trouble because they're our members.
Okay, thank you. Josh, your comments, please.
Yeah, I don't think you guys should be issuing an order of condition on someone else's property for work.
That's why, I don't think we'll do anything until we have a formal letter from the Pinehurst Beach Association, whatever. I'm using the wrong words. Pinehurst Beach Association, but what's the?
Improvement Association.
Improvement, it's, okay. Yes, that has to happen. We have to have that.
Well, we're waiting for the exact dimension. The intent is to approve the easement.
I haven't heard anything so far that would indicate they would change the plan from
Right.
us. But
Well-
not until I hear from everybody else, but,
Well, the ultimate approval that a plan will be generated with the exact amount of square footage.
okay.
That's what I understand. And that was,
So until we have that approval in writing
approval from you guys.
from you, you're the home, the
We're not
landowners.
going to issue anything before we have something in writing saying that they can do work on someone else's property.
See, they don't-
We're not going to make a decision before you do.
Okay,
The state regulations won't allow us to.
okay. Well, we've made a decision to approve it. We just don't know the square footage.
But I have nothing in writing
We just need
that
that.
indicate that you've
So you
done
need a
that.
notice of intent.
Well, I need a notice from your organization saying that you have approved the right-of-way or whatever it is for them to use your property or to use your property. We must have that.
Okay.
Am I saying the wrong words, Josh?
A letter.
No, and we don't need to know what the square footage is. So if you can provide them with a letter saying, we allow for work to be constructed on our property, map and lot, whatever it may be, that would satisfy our requirement.
And you
If you
would,
want to figure out the easement and the square footage after, we don't care about that. We don't care about the easement or how many square feet the easement is. We need something in writing saying that you are giving them permission to do work on your property.
based on the plan of August 27th, 2024, reference the plan.
Okay.
Sam, I imagine you're spearheading this at
Yes,
Some
yeah,
extent.
and we can prepare a plan that would,
So, are you at all concerned on what we're asking for right now?
I understand, yeah,
Okay.
no, I get that. And yeah, we can certainly prepare a plan for their sake that would define an exact area for their purpose, and we can provide that letter to the board.
Right,
So-
and Our requirement from PBIA is not an easement plan showing what you're willing to allow them to use. It's you're allowing them to do work on your property.
Sure. I mean, this has been done several times recently, I think this past year.
And we've asked for approval of the
So a letter like
landowners.
that.
Yeah, the landowner to give authorization to take your land for their use. That's what they're doing.
Right.
The commission has actually had projects that have gone on for over a year where the other property owner wouldn't allow them to do work. And the filings actually got withdrawn. So, that's what we need from you guys.
Sure. Fine. I don't see a problem with that. We'll get that to you.
So the recommendation would be a continuance until we
I
have,
have some more
oh,
comments.
sorry.
Can you guys talk to me a little bit about high tide in that area? Because you have salt marsh to the north side of the wall, and it sounds like you're gonna have to bring in a barge to do work on that north side. Can you not destroy the salt marsh at high tide with a barge?
Yeah, the, high tide is well above that salt marsh, above the footing there, so utilizing high tide could certainly stay above that salt marsh and even to the right of the salt marsh if need be.
All right, so there'll probably be a condition that says any destruction of the salt marsh will require revegetation.
Okay.
And then, again, just so you know, because high tide actually goes up to the seawall, any of the work that is approved is considered a taking of shellfish habitat. So, get it as close to the existing wall as you physically can.
Okay.
But it sounds like we would require a continuance. I'm sure you guys could probably put something together before our next meeting.
Yep.
2 weeks,
2 weeks, next meeting.
October 2nd
10-2?
and 2.
Anything else from the board? Nothing? I'll take a motion to continue until 10-2, waiting the documentation of approval to work on the land.
So moved.
Have
Second.
that motion?
Second.
And a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, we're 600. Thank you, we wait your document.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, please.
On the request for notice of intent for Jens Dubourg, 20 Roosevelt Street, Wareham, Massachusetts, raise existing home and construct a new home within a bordering vegetated wetland and a bordering land subject to flooding. Zone VE, elevation equals 19 and 20, map 35, lot 203, 20 Roosevelt Street, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. They have asked that this be continued because they did not stake where the new building is going to be moved to. So they've asked for a continuance until 10-2.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. It's continued until 10-2. Because it's, Josh, were they going to actually move that house closer to the road? Is that what they're talking about, a proposed relocation of existing dwelling? Did I read that correctly?
They, no, it's a raise, R-A-Z-E, so.
Yeah, they're going to raise it, but it says proposed relocation of existing dwelling. It sounds to me like they're going to lift it and move the building.
It was staked when I was out there
I was gonna
today.
say-
It was not when I was
No,
there.
but it's like they're pulling everything closer to the
Yeah,
road.
they're going to lift the building and move it closer on stilts.
Raise means to
Knock down.
No,
knock it down completely.
no, it doesn't say proposed relocation of existing dwelling.
I think they are destroying it, but moving the
Moving.
new constructed home closer to the road.
Existing dwelling to be relocated.
And I think it was a,
They didn't
It's
word
not-
that correctly.
yeah,
They're
a poor-
raising the house and building a new
poor
one.
narrative, I'll say.
Okay, because I never saw the word RAZE in any of the documentation.
I
But-
wanted to ask something else about, on some of the stakes, they had the letters EROS. What does that stand for? Is that erosion control, or
Probably.
God of love.
Yeah,
Yeah, really.
probably
Yeah.
erosion control.
is that, okay, so you think it's erosion control?
But if you look
Okey
at the-
dokey, we have a motion and we have a second for continuance. Any other discussion before we vote? All in favor of continuing? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 10-2. And I'd love to know whether or not they're planning to lift and move it or actually destroy it and move it.
I will get you
Yeah.
clarification.
Okay. Next, please.
On the request for notice of intent for Nancy Payne, 79 Agawam Lakeshore Drive, Wareham, Massachusetts. This project involves the construction of a new driveway, patio, retaining walls, and walkways associated with a single-family dwelling. The project also involves the installation of a seasonal residential dock. Map 129A-1, Lot 126, 79 Agawam Lakeshore Drive, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. All right, and who are you?
Brian Wallace of JC Engineering.
Okay, Brian, I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth regarding 79 Agawam Lakeshore Drive project.
I do.
Thank you. Okay,
All right, good evening. So this owner is looking to do several improvements to their property. I'll just go through them. They are looking to reconstruct and expand their driveway. As part of a notice of intent that the commission had approved, I believe back in April, they're replacing the septic system out front. That work is going to happen pretty much concurrently with what we're proposing here. And that involved removing a section of the driveway then. So this is sort of taking that to completion and completing and expanding that driveway. They're proposing to install new walkways around the dwelling. One walkway in the front wrapping around the left-hand side if you're looking at the house from the street, and then an additional new walkway on the right-hand side that would lead up to new steps and landings that would provide access to the deck located at the rear of the dwelling, and then also to the new patio out back. They're looking to remove and replace the existing brick patio out back with a new patio that would be expanded about 15 and a half feet from where the deck is located. That patio would have a retaining wall around it that would be elevated about 18 inches above the patio to provide additional areas for seating and whatnot. They're also looking to provide drainage for that patio, the expanded patio there, and that they would also tie in the roof leaders behind the house into that system there. They're looking to reconstruct the 3-foot wide walkway that provides access down to the existing pond. And there is an existing wood landing and dock there that had been flagged during the previous notice of intent to be removed. So that would be removed, and in place of that, they are proposing a 4-foot wide year-round dock, which is something we had changed on the recent revised plan. So I know when you had read the project description, it said seasonal. After talking with the owner, they would like to make that a year-round structure. Beyond that, they are looking to reconstruct a few of the walls on the right-hand side of the property, and also replace the existing fences that are located on the left-hand and right-hand side of the property there. So we'll be placing erosion control barriers along the right-hand side property next to the abutter. That's lot 125. And we'd also be proposing an erosion control barrier down towards the end of the pond that would prevent any sedimentation from the patio, the wall, or the walkway that's being installed there. So I believe that covers everything they are looking to do, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
okay, this time I'm starting with Scott.
How much of this new hardscaping is permeable?
Yeah, so the anticipation is that most of it will be impervious. The patios and the walkways would just be, flagstone or bluestone, or possibly brick. We sort of left the materials. I think that's something that the owner is still trying to determine with the contractor on what those will be, but I would expect them to be impervious materials.
Is there currently any control of the water coming off the roof? Is there any
No,
dry wells or anything?
that's one of the issues. They've recently bought this property, and a portion of the concrete driveway, the back end of it slopes towards the pond. So runoff from there runs down the side of the property. The house, the roof leaders go right onto the patio that's there now. So there's no control of the runoff there currently.
Is there any plan to control some of that?
Yeah, so we'll be providing a small drain, which is located just in front of the steps that lead down to the walkway, down to the pond. That would just be one subsurface chamber that would capture runoff from the patio. It would also, we'd also tie in the roof leaders on the back of the house into that system. So we'd be capturing, quite a bit of the runoff that currently isn't captured.
Thank you.
Yep.
Paula Jean.
I think you answered my questions. I had concerns about, I'm reading about you're gonna have a lot of walkways with pavers, and then I looked what was there is flagstones, but with grass around it, so there's, it's pervious. Even the bricks has a little bit of sand in between them, so water can go down in. So I think that what you're saying is it's not gonna be impervious pavers all over.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a poured concrete, something like that completely, with any.
But we are gonna lose some area that is now pervious to what will be impervious. And I'm trying to figure out how much of that area it will be. It does slope down to the water, and so, every little blade of grass holds a drop of water.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason we're providing that drainage too, is to sort of offset that loss of vegetation. Yep.
And then I was looking at, you've got vegetation down at the water's edge. Some of it's just kind of junky stuff, and then you had one bush there. I wasn't able to identify whether it's something in the holly family or my plant net told me it was a something else that I know it wasn't. But it was kind of a nice bush, had some red berries on it. Is that area going to be disturbed, or is that going to be left alone?
Yeah, my understanding after talking with the owners, they would like to just leave that area
Good.
as it is. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
Autumn.
I noticed on the plan that there's a proposed vinyl fence in the 30-foot no activity zone. Is the intention of that fence, is that a privacy fence? If it's really critical for the property owners to have that privacy, would you be willing to do something a little more environmentally friendly? Maybe some vegetation that we could use in lieu of the vinyl fencing?
Yeah, I think it's serving a purpose as a privacy fence. On the left side of the property where there's an existing wood fence there that would be replaced, I think it's falling apart. On the right-hand side, that's a bit of a newer fence that I think they'd like to put for privacy.
Okay.
I hadn't talked to them about vegetation, but I think, after, understanding what they like to achieve, they'd probably prefer to do a fence and maximize the yard area they have.
Okay. I do want to note that the commission is taking a stance on the 30-foot no activity zone, and with the fence, that's something that we might not be lenient on, and I want to open that to further discussion with the commission.
Of course.
Thank you.
Kwame.
I think Paula Jean actually answered, about the pervious areas, so
Yep.
that was one of my targets, but I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Michael.
You mentioned excuse me, you mentioned about erosion control barriers. What type of barriers are we planning to put up on this project? Do we know yet? So-
Yeah, we're proposing a straw wattle or something filled with compost, as on the detail we have there. So that would have the straw wattle in front of it and then the silt fence staked behind it. So pretty standard erosion control barrier.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Denise.
Okay, can you explain or tell me what exactly is going to take place, or you want to take place in the no activity zone? Other than the fence, is the patio moving into that area at all? Because it looks like you're really doubling the size of the patio that they have.
Yeah, we're maintaining that 30-foot offset, which is the dashed blue line, where a few feet, about 3 feet away from that with where the proposed wall is going.
That's the 30-foot
That's the 30-foot no-touch, yeah.
there.
So we are expanding that existing patio, but as far as activity goes within the 30-foot offset to the pond there, we're just replacing that 3-foot wide walkway, which I believe is allowed per your bylaw,
Correct.
to provide access down to the dock. And the dock, of course, is, within the pond, so, yep.
You're enlarging the driveway, and the material for that, you told me, that's,
Yeah, I think they'd like to either do concrete or asphalt pavement on that. And I would just like to add on the driveway that, again, I mentioned a portion slopes back towards the pond. We'd be raising the back of that driveway just a bit to make sure it all goes towards the road.
towards the
there.
road,
Yeah.
okay. Some of the stakes had a CB on it. What is that?
That would, do you recall where those were located?
No, in my notes, it just says, what does CB stand for?
CB. Oh, perhaps those were a concrete bound, maybe, when we surveyed the property initially, if they were located by the street.
Okay, so that's the boundary.
Yeah.
Okay. We covered how you're handling runoff. How are you going to handle all the swans?
My-
There were about 10 swans in the backyard when I walked back there.
Yeah, our surveyor, he takes pictures of the property, and he had one picture of the swans, and each picture, they got a little bit closer, a little bit
Yeah.
closer, a little bit closer, and,
They were moving towards me too when I was walking onto the property. I don't think they're going to be happy with you.
yeah.
But, and I don't know really what, like a Chapter 91, obviously, Josh, does not come into effect with these type of docks, do
No,
they?
it does. If the pond is greater than 10 acres, it's considered a great pond,
Okay.
and great ponds
So then,
require
what is
Chapter 91.
allowed on this for us? What can we allow with this property for the dock then?
You can allow what's being proposed.
Can we?
Yeah.
Okay. So the dock is okay.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain Mill Pond is greater than 10 acres,
Yeah,
so we anticipate filing with the state after.
Okay.
yeah, Mill Pond is.
Larger patio, lawns, and the other thing was just the swans. Thank you.
Joe?
I will withhold my comments due to some personal career ties with the applicant.
Okay.
No comments from me.
My question, the fence on the north side exists, correct? Wooden fence.
Correct, yep.
So you're just asking to replace the wooden fence with a new vinyl fence, so that's no additional land in the 30-foot no-work zone. It already exists.
That's correct.
My concern is what's on the south side. That's a brand-new fence, correct?
That is correct, yep.
Josh, what would you recommend if they want privacy on their property and that new fence is in the 30-foot no-touch? What can we offer them to allow them to go for the privacy they're looking for? I mean, if they do any planting, it's going to take forever to get big enough in order to...
Not grasses.
You can
Grass
buy
is
some
good.
6-foot arborvitae, pretty available. Yeah, you could plant 6-foot arborvitae tomorrow.
You're still disturbing the ground in order to plant it, so what's the difference between planting an arborvitae or putting in a post for a vinyl fence? It's still disturbing the 30-foot.
Carbon
Vegetation
offset.
versus-
Vegetation versus a fence.
It's good for pollinators,
Yeah.
the soil
And the
health,
grasses, I mean,
diversity.
we cut our grasses down to the ground every year, and they just completely fill in.
But those grasses take up a lot of space. Yeah, so, I mean, it just, the homeowner wants his backyard, so I'm looking for alternatives for that vinyl fence on the south side. To me, the north side is a replacing of an existing fence, so those post holes already exist. That's my feel for it, but the south side is a new side. My question is, how farther out into the pond does this new year-round dock go versus what you got?
Yeah, what's there today, I don't have an exact measurement on that, but it looks to be about 12 feet or so, perhaps. out into the pond, and we're going 30 feet.
Would you be going out to where that buoy is?
That's where the end of the pier is
I was
proposed.
hoping that you were going to tell me that is what you had marked it, saying that would be the extension of the pier.
Yep.
And you have the plan here that it would be, do we have to have, Josh, in here, do we have to have space for people to walk around the pond? So it's not like a sea, so I don't have to have high enough for people to walk under it?
That'd probably look pretty ridiculous there.
Well, I'm just wanting to make sure that we don't have an,
Yep.
okay.
There.
So at the, out of it, at the end, you've got 12 inches,
At the end of the pier, we'd have
about 15 inches of water,
actually about 2.6 feet of water.
2.6.
And that is standard elevation of the pond, which is controlled by a dam, so it's 15 feet pretty much all the time. Sometimes they'll lower the pond by about 2 feet when they treat it for vegetation and stuff, but that's only temporary for a few weeks in the springtime. We kept the dock out that far to meet the bylaw requirement for 12 inches of depth for any watercraft they plan to use, which the owners do have. So that is why we are going out 30 feet.
Any idea what type of watercraft?
Yeah, they have a pontoon boat. I believe it's about a 20-foot pontoon boat, and a smaller bass boat.
Should we be worrying about scouring when those motors start up? Josh?
So I think that's the reason why you have the minimum water depth required.
Okay.
Mitigate that concern. But I'm sure the applicant wouldn't mind pushing off their dock before they start the boat.
See no reason they
I
couldn't do
mean,
that. Yeah.
nothing more than putting down the throttle and have your stern dig down and you get a hole.
Yeah, the draft on the motor is about 18 inches, which is why we wanted to make sure we had that foot, which is what the bylaw specifies there. So that's the,
And you'll be taking out the wooden platform that is to the north side of the existing pier.
that'll all be removed, yep.
The pier and that wooden platform will go, and it will be disposed of properly.
Correct, yep.
Okay,
I have another question. The vegetation, is there anything that we have to be ecologically concerned about in the pond?
what vegetation?
That's what I want to know. Is there any vegetation that we have to worry about?
In the water?
Yeah,
Oh, is there special
Yeah. There's
no-
pond species that?
that we have to worry about. I mean, like, we have to worry
There's
about
no
eelgrass
eelgrass.
and stuff. I know there's no eelgrass, but I just want to know, is there any other vegetation that we're supposed to be concerned about if it's in a pond?
No, I think
Not that I'm-
historically, especially Mill Pond has had a problem with invasive species.
Okay, so,
Is
they
that
treat.
camp? This is the pond that group is cleaning out every year and coming before us for reapproval.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So when we surveyed the property, it was actually at the lower elevation at that time because they were
Treating.
treating. Yeah.
so there's no protected species in there that we have to worry about?
I don't believe so, no. I think at,
Yeah, if there were, it'd be NHESP layered, and they would have had to file with NHESP
Okay,
before
thank you.
Okay.
before us.
Josh, any comments on this project?
No. No, I think
Anybody-
you guys covered everything.
Anybody in the audience or online that would like to comment on this project? Josh, your recommendation?
So I'd recommend the standard order of conditions, but it sounds like Autumn brought up a concern about the fencing and the no activity,
On the south side?
that the commission should make a determination on, I guess.
So we would like the fence changed to vegetation. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, so it's either we disallow the fence because it's in the 30-foot no activity, or we offer an alternate to the applicant.
Would you like to, we'll continue until you hear from what the applicant would like to be placed in lieu of that vinyl fence on the south side.
well, is the commission's stance that the fence won't be allowed?
Correct.
Okay. Would we be able to approve the project with the option of no fence or vegetation. Kind of have that, because they might decide that, well, no fence, no problem,
But I think we'd like to know what type of vegetation. If they go for the vegetation, I think we'd like to know what they're planning to plant
right.
as a,
Well,
Secure-
could we require that it be what's the word?
Is that like the administrative approval, or?
No,
Native.
for the native
Yeah.
planting.
yeah, but it,
Native planting,
I think-
something fast-growing. You know, Sylvan
mean, they can
Nurseries
pick-
has so many things available, and their experts would be able to say, this is gonna grow really fast, and it's good for pollinators, and it, you know, et cetera.
Right.
There are so many choices there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it could be something before a final choice is made that we could run by Josh and make sure that he's okay with it before anything goes in the ground there.
so what I'm hearing is that we could do a standard order of conditions with the stipulation, no vinyl fence on the south side, and it be, if they so desire, be planted with native plantings, of which Josh approves.
Correct. So moved.
It's,
Well, I haven't closed the hearing.
so it's
Wait a minute.
not just stipulating a vinyl fence, but no fence.
No fence,
No fence.
Yes.
no disturbance, other than digging a hole to plant something. So if that's, you're good with that? Okay, so now, no one wants to talk on this one, so now I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
A motion to close the hearing?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, someone wants to take a crack at the order of conditions.
I motion to approve with the standard order of conditions with the stipulation that no fence is placed on the south side of the property, and if native plantings would like to be included by the property owner and applicant, to see Josh for approval.
May I just mention one thing? The fence would just not be within the 30-foot no activity zone. Is that, they could still have the fence?
We're talking about the 30-foot no work
Just the no
section.
activity zone.
Yeah, just to clarify. So that be the motion?
Yes.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, we're 600. See, Josh, you're done. Okay, now, continued hearings. We've had, this is 40 Great Nick Road. We've had a request for continuation until 10/2.
Make a motion to continue.
I have a motion to
Second.
continue until 10/2. All, I got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstain. Did everybody say aye?
Aye.
I did.
Yes.
Denise?
I think,
Yes.
600, thank you.
I'm sorry.
The next one we have is 21 Bayberry Road.
Being on the board.
Make him, well, there he is. Sorry. Didn't see you coming.
Evening.
Aye. You might have to
Aye.
stand up, right?
I
Yes.
stood up before. I'm still going to tell the truth.
I swear. I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth regarding the property at
I re-swear.
21 Bay.
We believe
You
you.
weren't done tonight. You were done before. Okay, that's right. So it's still in effect. Sorry. I'm not used to swearing people in. Okay,
I'm used to swearing at people, but
all right. What are we here for? Yule. Okay. Why did we continue this?
It wasn't
Like-
staked.
It wasn't
Flags.
staked. Is it staked? Anybody go out there to see if it was staked?
It's
Yep.
beautifully staked.
It's
It's
staked.
beautifully
I
staked.
talked to the owner. They're going to fill it to make it more even so that his wife doesn't start the house on fire with the grill, which is what almost happened last time, which is why he's doing this project.
more information than I had.
All right, so now, if that's it, we can close the hearing.
Move to close the hearing.
Did you wanted to say anything? No, are
As
you?
little as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, you have, in your packet there, you have a larger drawing which shows the location on the property. You have a smaller drawing that shows what, in more detail, what we're doing with the patio. We're going to remove pervious paving and install impervious paving as well as a little bit of landscape wall. That's pretty much it, in addition to making it safer for
Grilling.
grillers, yes.
Okay.
Do we move to close the hearing?
I have a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
And a
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, hearing's closed. Josh, your recommendation for this project?
-3, -6. The property is relatively flat, so I don't know that erosion control is really necessary.
Okay,
But that's just my opinion.
It comes downhill from, but then it hits that flat area, so,
If you disagree, put erosion control in the condition.
oh, it's,
I don't know.
all right.
I just feel better when they have erosion control, when they're doing work.
Waddles.
No problem.
Straw, wattles,
Straw wattles.
straw.
Okay,
I motion to approve with a
I
negative.
think we need to close the hearing.
Make a motion to
Okay.
close the hearing?
We did?
We
We
closed it.
did,
We did?
we did.
I closed it.
You did?
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
voted.
your turn.
Make a
I
motion.
gotcha. I motion to approve with a -3 and a -6 determination with the addition of straw wattle erosion controls.
That's the motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. We're done. See
Thank you
Josh
all.
before you
Have a
start
good
the work.
evening.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Just see Josh before you start the work.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're down to,
The owner's wedding.
continued hearings for Mueller, 4 Candy Street. Anybody here for that project?
Brad requested a continuance to October 2nd. He notes that he'll have plans to us by September 25th.
Is that for 4 and 8?
Yes.
All right, so we'll take one at a time.
I motion to continue for Kennedy Street until October 2nd.
I have that motion. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, sustained. Okay, next one, please. It's 600 to continue until 10:02.
And then would you like me to,
Next one, please.
I motion to continue 8 Kennedy Street until 10:02.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, 600. It's continued. Next one is 33 Mayflower Ridge Drive. Anybody here for that project? Oh,
Brian Wallace, JC Engineering.
okay, you already been sworn in. Okay. Why did we continue this? Because it wasn't staked.
Sworn in for a specific project.
Do you want me to? I'm happy to.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, this is continued, so he was sworn in at the last meeting,
Anything continue?
so that just to continue it.
Trying.
No, you're trying, I know, but it's, look what I did to, never mind, to the prior one. Okay, so I believe it was issued with a stake because you didn't have the pathway staked.
That is correct.
And the top
Anybody
of the
go out there and look?
I did.
And it's staked?
It's staked, and the
staked.
top of the driveway staked. It's
We
it's
did.
very nice.
So that was the only reason we continued?
I
Yes.
do have a question, though.
Sure.
It's all downhill, and again, runoff from the driveway, what are they doing for that?
Yeah, we're going to put a trench drain just in front of the driveway. That would, yep. For that.
Was this the property with the proposed mitigation area, or was that another
what?
property?
This is the one with the
It does.
treehouse?
It does have mitigation plantings, yep.
Okay. So we had discussed the mitigation plantings in the last meeting. Was there any follow-up that was needed for this continuance?
listed on the
Something
plan?
we decided.
It says that if
Yeah.
3 years, and if it's lost to, if they die, they are to be replaced.
Yeah.
Right?
If I may add, Kennedy Street had mitigation as well, and I think there was discussion on that.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that was-
Yeah,
I
throw
guess-
Brad under the bus.
Sorry,
Sorry, Brad.
it's a lot.
Okay,
So is he doing, were we requiring mitigation planting with you also?
We are due to the riverfront.
and our notice, I think we need to put a requirement that you have 3 years, and anything dies, it gets replaced within those 3 years, right?
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else before we close the hearing?
I motion to close the hearing.
A motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. The hearing is closed. Josh, your recommendation?
Standard order the conditions with the special condition of any plantings at the end of 3 years that don't survive shall be replanted.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
I have that motion. I had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. All in favor? Yeah, I did that. Never mind. I just did that.
Tricked us.
Yeah.
I'm getting mad.
Okay, all
thank-
done.
great,
Thank you.
thank you.
See Josh before you start the work. Okay.
I have a question between, so these projects are only finished once an order, once there's a certificate of compliance issued, is that right? So in this case where they have to replant after 3 years, can they not come for a certificate of compliance until those 3 years are over?
I don't know.
don't
We've
know.
never
Is that a
had that
fine?
question before.
Sorry.
Well, they could, and you could condition the certificate of compliance. And honestly, it'd probably be something that I'd just put on my calendar 3 years from now to go out and check. I've done that for a couple projects now, where you guys set a date specific. I go into my calendar, put a reminder for that time, and when it dings, I go.
Okay,
Yep, just asking the question.
good question.
And if they don't do it or they kind of renege on that, can we withdraw the certificate of completion, or how does that work? If they just decide to not do it?
No, you would move forward with an enforcement order.
Enforcement order, okay. Thank you.
Okay, the next is certification of compliance, 25 Broad Marsh Ave.
So this is an old one, 765. That's kind of when DEP started tracking them, to be honest with you. Tracking them in the sense that they've updated their spreadsheet.
Okay.
Obviously, they tracked ones before that. It was for a seawall. I went out, and the seawall looks like it's probably 30 years old. But it was built in the manner that it was proposed, so I would suggest issuing a certificate of compliance.
So moved.
I have a so moved. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained. Okay, all done. Review of enforcements. How are we on our 3?
Let's see. Shangri-La is still working with the engineer. Pine Lake actually has a new engineer who just reached out to me, so we're moving forward with that one. 200 Great Neck, I reached out to the engineer, telling him that we wanted him at the hearing tonight, and we have no one online and no one in the audience.
Because we said we don't want to wait for the plan for the sewer, sorry, for the septic. We wanted them to come before us on the driveway, and they didn't show.
I have some other questions, though, too. I have some questions. On 50 Shangri-La, they did a deck, a patio, and all those benches? That's everything that's the problem there?
They took it all down and removed
Yeah,
all the
they-
vegetation.
They totally raised the structure in a weekend. Pulled the roof off on a Friday, and the walls were down by Sunday.
Because when I was there today, there was a deck, a patio, and benches all out back.
Let's see, I
Am I
have,
looking at the wrong proper? It said 50 on the house.
It's down in a it's down.
Yeah, it's down below.
Yeah.
And when I walked around the back of it, there's a deck out there, there's a patio, there's some concrete benches.
so I have new aerials from this week, so
Okay.
let's
Maybe
let's take a look at those. Yeah, no, that still looks like a empty foundation with the construction materials
Oh, that
inside
was-
of it.
I was looking at a house.
So here's, could this be it? They're
Yeah,
both
that
right
had a-
on the bend.
Yeah, that had a 50 though on the house.
On the garage up here? So the,
No, actually on the house, it was behind a bush kind of thing.
this one?
Yeah. I thought it had a 50 on it. I'll go back and look again, but
Yeah.
I must have obviously been at the wrong place.
Yeah, these aerials are from September 11th, so I don't
My
think
goodness.
I don't think they constructed anything
No.
within the
no,
last
this
week,
was-
but
This has been there for a while.
Okay.
But everything that's behind that other house, was any of that allowed then?
over here.
Yeah. I mean, it goes right up to the,
Awful hard to see under the trees.
yeah. But everything was like right up to the water and everything. I don't know. But anyway, okay, then at Pinehurst, or Pine Lake, there were 2 building permits in the window. They can get building permits without having to been approved for the work through conservation?
Trees was approved.
Let's see.
Pine Lake is,
Yes, they can.
Because they can do work inside.
But where they can do work inside, so that, maybe that might have been one of the building permits.
Because obviously, I mean, there's a deck that is half built out back and everything.
Yeah, so, I'm pretty sure there was a, cease and desist on the property as well for some of the construction work.
I didn't see the cease and, I was
No.
looking for the cease and desist sign. I didn't see any sign for that.
No.
And then 200 Great Neck Road.
Mhm.
There were 2 houses. There was one to the right that's gray and new, and then there's one to the left, this is my left, and one to the right that had a 200R on it. So which one are we talking about?
the one on the left.
The one on the left that has that
Yeah, because the other one,
stuff down in front,
yeah,
the front
the
yard.
other one has its access from the rear.
Oh,
No, they both
no, but they
asked
both
us.
Yeah, but-
access-
They both come up with central driveway, then one driveway goes off to the left, and that's the one that has the violation.
Okay.
Correct.
So it's the gray house then. Thank you.
Okay, now, we're coming down to minutes. We're unhappy with the minutes.
Okay.
I believe we are having a lot of spelling errors. I mean, if Scott says he did spell check and had 30-plus errors on spelling, names and everybody else. Paula Jean, our minutes are not transcriptions. We are getting transcriptions, we want minutes. A summary of what an actual detail of what we voted on and what the vote was and the conditions, as opposed to 8 pages of questions and answers. I mean,
So you want less discussion, more detailed motion?
well, they're there, but they're lost in all the discussions because we're not a transcription.
So less discussion is what you're looking for?
I don't know, I'm going to go across the board.
Oh, okay,
I want correct spelling,
fair.
right?
Please.
Nice word.
And we want,
Yeah, I was just noting my name was wrong on
Well,
the,
yeah.
Comes across as a transcription, but a very poor one. Most everything everyone says is paraphrased. It's like a party game, and it ends up with a whole different meaning half the time. That's my take on it.
So the other thing to realize about minutes, if they were ever going to be used in a legal sense, we're gonna actually probably hire a transcription
From the video.
for someone to actually watch and
Of
do
course.
a proper transcription.
Right, we wouldn't use
So
what we've
then-
been getting.
So
if
then
we
these would
if
not be
push
used
came
as
to shove,
legal documents,
Correct.
so always.
just overviews of our meeting.
No, the minutes are definitely illegal documents.
Right, but we wouldn't use them in
In,
a court
But
sense.
someone else could use them. They are,
Yeah, and we would bring our own version of what was actually transcribed at the
right, but
meeting.
as soon as the commission approves the minutes, it means that,
Well, we're accepted, we accept the minutes, we don't approve them.
well, as soon as they're accepted, we're saying those accurately reflected what happened in the meeting.
well, we used to have minutes that were very, very concise as to what went on. And we've been told that that was an incorrect way for us to be doing it. So then we went to this, and now we're not happy with it. So
I don't remember, I mean,
Who told us
the
that?
select board, Then gave us instructions as to how our minutes were supposed to be, and everything was pared down because they said that they weren't being used as legal documents. I am confused as to what we are really required to do.
We are required to record the action that we're taking, what we approved, who made the motion, who seconded, who closed it, what the conditions were that we approved, who made the motion, who closed it.
Who attended the meeting?
So the discussions aren't supposed to be in there?
They're irrelevant to the they are really irrelevant to the vote being taken.
Okay, so then,
I feel like if push comes to shove, the video is going to by far supersede anything that's written that we accepted. It's just kind of, it should be minimal. And in my career, boards have been on, if you follow Robert's rules, they really condense it, and it's just, all it is supposed to go in minutes is who said what, if it was a motion, what action was taken.
Right.
And that's it.
Robert's
And-
rules talks about 3 different types of minutes.
Yeah.
So there are executive minutes, which is what you're talking about, but there are also, I don't remember what the other ones are called, but there are 2 other forms of minutes that are in there. So, for example, if there's a meeting that covers labor negotiations, those are very extensive minutes. We don't need that. But we probably are looking for something, I forget what the middle one is called. It's not just the executive minutes, it's not the extensive minutes, it's the one in the middle. So that if you go back and look at the minutes, you can reconstruct what happened in the meeting. So, for example, in this one of the sets of minutes that we were looking at, it says Josh gave an explanation. But that didn't say what the explanation was, and that's germane then to the decision that was made by the commission.
I think we need clarification is from the select board, who told us that they didn't want us doing that,
Well,
what type of minutes they want us to have.
these are not,
So I think you guys had a very good meeting with Attorney Bowen, where he gave his speech about legal decisions and how they should be made. I know that he is looking to do a few more of those type of discussions. Maybe meeting minutes is one that he should cover.
I think
Good.
Yes, because if you include something in minutes, that can also be used against you in court.
if they're not correct.
Either way.
Right, they're going to carry some weight because they're written down.
At the end of the day, you guys should really be concerned about the actual document that you're signing. Because, for example, let's say you put a condition on a property to,
Make sure the plants live for 3 years.
sure. And let's say that doesn't make it into the order of conditions, you can't uphold it.
No.
You mean, you're referring to the documents that we sign, that we don't read, that we sign at the end of the meeting, to be clear?
To be clear, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, should we be waiting to sign things then until you've put together the paperwork, and then we're supposed to read it before we sign it?
So really, the only thing that that I wouldn't know about is any special conditions.
So anything beyond a standard order of condition, like tonight, we added some to some things. We shouldn't sign that paperwork then until you've,
If the only thing is the special conditions
Yeah.
that you're worried about, I could probably get them printed tonight. It would be a pretty easy lift for me to do. Get it written tonight, and you could still move forward with signing those the night of.
how does that hold people up if we don't sign anything, like if we don't sign it tonight? No,
You
'cause
have-
we used to
How
go.
long do you have before you issue the order of conditions?
21 days.
Okay, so he has 21 days to get the
21 days to
paper
do it.
to us.
So as I know, we used to go into the office prior to Josh, we used to have to go into the office to sign things occasionally. And,
Well, a lot of that was COVID.
yeah, but, I mean, we've done
All
it.
right, so, to me, we could sign the ones that we've done that didn't have any conditions on them, which is really the certification of compliance.
Or the standard order of conditions.
Yeah, but
Anything that just had standard.
we put restrictions on every one of them that we approved tonight.
Well, for the RDA, all you really want is erosion controls. I can write that in by hand right now. There's a spot for it to be written in on the application.
Well, let's go back to the minutes. We'd like to have spelling correct of the name of the people and the spelling in the document, so spell check would help immensely. Okay,
I'm sure our minute taker would have no problem doing that.
and do we wait to hear from Mr. Bowen as to what type of minutes we ask for? Because I don't want a transcription.
Well, why don't I bring him a couple sets of our minutes and let him make a determination on how he feels they are?
Can you, and then you can return to us next meeting. So do you want to approve these 3 sets of, these
So
minutes have been done.
Any corrections that people have wanted in these 3 sets of minutes, I've made.
You've made.
So,
But there's still minutes that contain a lot of things that we're not sure if we're supposed to be including in minutes. Like, Mrs. Schultz said this, and
But we,
Marcia
how far back
this.
do you want to go? Do you want to start pulling back some of the minutes you've already?
No.
Right.
so we've had these 3 sets of minutes, and anybody who had a chance spent their responses to Josh. He said he has made updates to all the adjustments we asked for. So to me, the minutes of August 7th, August 21st, and September 4th have been reviewed by all of us. Comments have been made to Josh, and I believe all 3 of them can be accepted.
Were they
Would they not, well, those are not approved though, correct?
We're accepting them.
accept them, not
That's
approving
That's
them?
my point, yeah.
And
that's
the areas where I had question marks about where, like, I didn't understand what was
I
said.
made revisions to those
Revisions
to
to
make
those,
them
too.
more accurate. Yep.
So would the commission then want to look at those minutes again before accepting them? So it's
I have no problem accepting Mr. Faraday's indication that he's made those changes.
I don't have a problem with that either.
You did correct Christina's name, right?
Yes. Not Zambos, whatever it was. Yeah,
And that Joe attended a meeting, and Joe's first name is Joe,
correct.
not Scott.
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, all those adjustments have been made. He swore to tell the truth, so,
And we just need clarification moving forward.
I think that was on hearings in front of the
Oh.
commission.
Yeah.
all right.
I think we need clarification though moving forward as to what,
Well,
should be
these stay.
included, yeah.
For future ones, would like to have a response from Mr. Bowen as to how our minutes should be looking going forward with tonight's meeting. So,
I'll bring him these 3 as an example.
okay,
And have him make a determination on them.
all right. We're not going to change these 3. We're going to accept these 3 tonight, if that's all right. So I'm looking for acceptance on August 7th, 2024. Everybody who approves them? Aye. Abstain?
No, I
She
said
said
aye.
aye.
Okay, I just wanted 600. Okay, minutes of August 21st, August 21st. All approval?
Aye.
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 Opposed, abstained? 600. Minutes of September 4th, approval of September 4th. How many, favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. The next thing we'd like to, 2 things we'd like to talk about. Can we get reimbursed for all the traveling we do since there are no town cars available for us? Can you ask the question of the town administrator? Because I would love, like everybody else, 30-some odd miles every time we do a,
went 35 miles today.
we'd like to know if we can get reimbursed for using our personal cars in order to do site visits, if you can ask Mr. Sullivan. I hope you
ask.
got the budget for it, because it's not going to be cheap. Was it 50-some odd cents an hour, a mile?
Well, some of us go
something like that.
together, so it's not like it'd be,
Well, I know, but you went, Michael went on your own?
yeah.
I went on my own. Did you go on your own? That's 4 cars, 5 cars, 6 cars?
I think everyone here.
Today we did, today everybody was out on.
It could easily be $150, $300 a month.
Could very well be, out of your budget.
Yeah, my budget can't support that. I'll ask the town administrator what we can do.
Or if, is it possible, is it some of the other town-owned vehicles that we could have access to, because not all the vehicles are used by every department every day.
You can come borrow my vehicle.
Why did they take
Your
the
personal one or your,
Yeah, I want to drive the Jeep. Can I drive the Jeep? Why did we stop having access to the electric cars?
because they're gone.
Yeah, the lease ran out
The
on
lease ran out
So we don't have them anymore.
right now, and there's working very hard to get another set of lease cars. But we had them all arranged, but apparently there was too much Chinese material in the car. They didn't get the financial support we were looking for, and we couldn't do the project. We couldn't lease them. So I think Mr. Sullivan's working very hard to get other vehicles, because he knows that committees use them and whatever. So it is work in progress. So he was very disappointed that that project he was working on did not happen. Now, I have one more thing. Are you aware of a project to restore the Cranberry Marsh, Jack's Marsh off of Crooked River, Wylands Trust and Buzzards Bay Coalition? So I went to a meeting yesterday regarding the restoration of land around Buzzards Bay, and what's Jack's Marsh in Wareham? And I knew nothing about it. Can you talk to us about what's happening?
So yeah, let me pull up, I think I have a plan that maybe I can
Now-
show you.
Does anybody know where Crooked River Road is? Wylands?
I heard of it, yeah.
Heard of it.
And there is a Wylands Trust kiosk, parking area, and trails that go in. It's opposite the entrance into Minot Forest. So if you go in that trail work there, off to the right, you'll see the marsh and the abandoned cranberry bogs that they're trying to look to restore to natural vegetation. If you've been hearing about a big project in Mattapoisett where they've taken down some cranberry bogs and it's going to be open to the public the end of October, it's that type of restoration that's looking at. It's that type of restoration they did at Horseshoe Pond, you know.
Sorry, I'm just looking for a good plan in my emails. I might not be able to find one.
But what are you talking about? Well, if you can't find it, can you give us an update at the next meeting?
Yeah, why don't I prepare a presentation for what's happening,
Please.
and I'll give it to you. Well, let
It's
me just
called
see. Jack's Marsh.
Jack's Marsh. Jack's Marsh.
Let me just see if this, yeah, I'll prepare something for the next meeting.
Now, Josh, did you have anything else for this meeting?
Yes.
There it is.
Your turn.
Fall conference is coming up for the MACC. It's a Saturday. They provide a breakfast and a lunch. It's like 8:30 to 4 or something. Is anyone interested in going?
I wanted to talk to you about it to see if there's any classes that you felt that we should, or you would like to see us take.
I'm not hearing you.
I wanted to find out if there were any out of all the courses that they're offering, if there's anything in particular that he would prefer that we take. And then they had a keynote speaker coming from the Division of Ecological Restoration that I thought was going to be interesting also.
I can take a look at the list.
Okay.
What were those dates?
Oh, I figured it out
It's
last.
Saturday, October 19th.
Yeah.
8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Devon's Common Center, 31 Andrews Parkway. It's a ride, usually.
Yes, I know what you're gonna ask,
No,
yes.
well, I'm not the only one.
No, I
but-
know,
So that was just so discouraging, because I was
Right,
like gung-ho, I'll do all this and get
Right.
certified, and great, and did a bunch, and then it's like, why bother? Because it
yeah, and
just-
that's, my goal for asking tonight is so we don't run into that issue again, and
But
that
who wants
you're,
to sign up again until the old bill is settled? It's been almost a year now.
yeah, I would agree.
No, it's discouraging.
And that's the goal of me asking tonight, is that I can get it
Okay.
paid for, and you guys don't have to worry about any of that.
And I don't
But what
understand
about
that.
the past?
Right,
I
because
mean,
I've spent over $600 out of my pocket, and it's been over a year on
Yep.
some of my
And that's
expenses.
shameful.
No, I
I
agree.
mean, I was
So what
getting
is
my
the
money
issue?
before within a week.
No, I'm just asking who wants to go because I
No.
will get it paid for so that it doesn't, we
But-
don't go through
I'd
this
consider
reimbursement
going.
process.
What about the reimbursements that people are waiting for?
You know, it's more the principle than the money. If I was told, okay, you go, you know, you have to spend some money, but I would have figured it's worth it, and I talked it out, and I can afford it. But when I'm told I'll be reimbursed and then I'm not, and a year goes by, it kind of sours me on the whole program.
And it's been approved. We
Discouraging
voted to
for-
approve this
for
in the budget.
all of us, you know, we want to be encouraged. This is a volunteer position, and we, like, you know, use our vehicles.
Well, I
and-
think it has to also do with respect for your volunteers. I mean, you shouldn't have to put out that amount of money and not get reimbursed in a timely
Well-
fashion.
Right.
Yep, so I got an email from the treasurer's office on September 3rd saying that everything's set up and ready to be dispersed.
Well,
Has it
where
been
is
sent to
Mail,
accounting?
Again.
Have they sent it to accounting?
This was from accounting.
You said treasurer.
Sorry, this is from accounting.
So Judy says,
So where's the
There
money?
was someone from the accounting office,
okay,
So where are the checks?
it takes 2 weeks.
at least.
Do they have any explanation as to why it's
Yeah.
taken a year?
Seriously. They'll put
Yeah,
us right at the one
We've
year.
kind of gone into it, but I don't think we need to go into
Yep.
it in public.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
We,
My tax bill.
it's being worked on, it's work in progress, and so it should be out within 2 weeks. All right, if that's nothing else,
No, I got more.
okay.
So we saw a few projects in front of us tonight that have a lot of impervious surface, or, you know, what the potential lot size is. Thinking specifically of Agawam Lake Shores. You know, you guys could always create some type of regulation that says, you know, impervious surface of a lot doesn't exceed a certain percentage. Just thinking out loud
Love that.
for concerns that you guys have had. You know,
Just like there is a bylaw that the house can't be X percentage of the property, was that zoning or planning or something
Zoning,
like that?
yeah.
So that type of thing that's saying you cannot,
Right. Or if it exceeds your certain percentage, you put in mitigation plantings.
So
to
how,
mitigate for that imperviousness.
what about the technical aspects or the engineering aspects of permeability, though? So we've already learned recently that gravel driveways, for example, are only permeable for a short period of time.
Yeah,
So
so you
what do
guys could make a list of what you feel is actually pervious and impervious and base it off of that standard. So,
Yeah.
yeah, someone could come in with the argument of gravel is impervious, but you would just make the argument that it's not.
and
No.
after
Or
a
the other way
time
around.
where the car drives, it will no longer be impervious. It will be pervious. It would become impervious if they keep driving over the same pattern.
Right.
But the rest of it stays impervious because it's not being trampled.
Some of it is still.
Some of it's still useful, but then what do? If you build up something, you're going to have such layers underneath it that prevents the water from coming down because of the materials that have been placed.
I mean, don't forget, they don't just lay down gravel or crushed stone.
No, it's
They
everything
always
underneath it.
compact it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it becomes so impacted, it doesn't become the drainage we had hoped for.
That's why I brought that up, because I don't really think there are any surfaces that are truly permeable unless they're grass or, you know, lawn or some kind of
And
vegetation.
that gets dug up when you plow.
It's kind of on a continuum. This is worse than that, but this is a
Now-
little better.
You've been to the Buzzards Bay property on Marion, in Marion, right? Have you seen their driveway? They have that grate that's been placed. Have you seen that? On their dirt?
I'd say that I have.
Okay.
There is a,
Where
But
is that?
is it like a honeycomb?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I've seen it other places.
What's it called, do you know? Then what's it, we'll find out what the name of that animal is.
If you go in the back of the property, it's like it's trying to keep the dirt down from flying all over the place or staying
Right.
if it's plowed.
Where is that, Sandy?
It's on Route 6, just outside,
The one on the rotary?
no, You know where the Dunkin' Donuts is on Route 6, in Marion? If you drive into Wareham, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts on the right, it's at the next intersection. It's a big building where they store their boats.
Okay.
That's the best way I could think of is,
So it's in the Wareham side, if you're coming from Marion to...
you're in Marion, and you're coming toward Wareham, the Dunkin' Donuts is on the right. This Buzzards Bay facility is on the right at the next intersection. You can see the nursing home. It's in that area where the nursing home is. It's before the gas station at the corner of Front Street and, yeah, if you hit the gas station on Front Street, you've gone too far.
Okay, so here, Front Street is
See?
down here some more.
Oh,
Yeah, here's Front Street.
Oh, it's much
Do
further
we
down.
know of like any material that's better than what's being used?
How old is this picture?
Scott?
This is 16, hold on.
It was built about 2 years ago.
So here's Front Street here. I think the property you're thinking
No, see, I can see it come down to about 7 o'clock. Little further. You're almost there. Up that's the building.
Here?
Yeah. So that area has got this honeycombed, okay, back it out a little so Paula Jean can see where it is. See where Route 6 is?
Oh, okay. I'd like to learn, if we had a good alternative, we should be educated what that is so we can share that and/or
So dry-laid
require that.
dry-laid cobbles would also be a very permeable surface.
Just tell me again, dry?
Dry-laid cobble,
Cobble.
yes. So these are, granite pieces of stone, and the traditional ways to groom the ground, and around here you don't have to pack it very much, and then you lay the stone in there and then fill in with sand in the grout lines, or what are the lines. Now, there are people who will lay these professionally, and they'll put down 4 or 5 inches of wet concrete and lay the stones in that. That's obviously not going to be permeable. So you can't just say they're cobbles, you have to say they're dry-laid cobbles.
They're in sand.
So how much
Sand.
property, what is added on the bottom of them in order to make them stable?
They're very stable because they're very heavy. They interlock when you put the sand in between them. The thing is, they're very expensive.
And how do they do with a plow?
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
I think
Just like gravel doesn't do well with a plow.
the best example I think you're thinking of is when you see like these Cape Cod aprons where you have like maybe
right.
6 or 8 feet of cobble, and then it's followed by like a seashell driveway or
No.
something.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
or even asphalt. Yeah, sometimes it's
Okay.
asphalt.
How do those, they're like a brick kind of thing, but they're honeycombed. Does that work any better?
Well, as long as it's dry-laid, it should be better than something that's laid in concrete or compacted or whatever.
Definitely better. While we're on that subject, I think we had a discussion about this, and maybe were going to get back to us about pervious versus allegedly impervious asphalt. You
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that asphalt that I took watering can and poured it
Lydia-
all on, and then like 20 minutes later, the puddle was still there the next day. It never sank in, and it was a relatively new private road that was put in.
Right.
It's not like it's been there with cars going over it, a superhighway for years. It's pretty new, and.
Oh, what is the
they
name
were
of that?
supposed to be impervious, and they just
We
put
just-
in
It's
whatever.
over Jordan Road.
Over Jordan, that's it, thank you. I'm trying to think, I know that.
We never looked into that, because
You were going
if
to-
indeed they put the other kind.
You were going to confirm how they built that roadway on Over Jordan.
I asked them at the one, when they were doing the houses, I asked the engineer, and he said that it was pervious, that
Yeah, right.
pervious asphalt.
Was he the person who laid it?
That's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Cape and Island Engineering. Mark
didn't-
did.
I didn't think they did the road.
Well, yeah, I don't know if Cape and Island did the road, but he definitely said that it was a pervious asphalt
Wink,
to
wink.
Denise.
So there must be technical standards for these kinds of things. The
Right.
surface, and then you put water on, like a perk
Right.
test. You put the
Right.
water on, see how long it takes for it to go through.
Show you
And
my
that
video.
order of conditions is still open.
And
The roadway.
because part of it is that you have to vacuum it to make sure it continues to be pervious.
What do you think the timeline is on that?
I have no idea. It depends on how much sand is laid down during the winter.
I think we need to look into or somehow research something that would work, that could still be shoveled, and that's more acceptable, something that we can live with.
Well, that being said, in Boston, some of the old areas, there are dry-laid cobblestones that have been there for 300 years. I don't know how aggressively they plow them, but
Well, I mean, even if you go to use a snow blower on your driveway, you can't with the cobble, I would assume. You can't snow blow it or anything.
I don't want to shovel that because I don't have a smooth surface to shovel on.
Right.
Okay, anything else before we,
So we need research.
Yeah,
Josh,
so,
something else?
the commission at a lot of your meetings lately, you've been really driving home the straw wattle versus hay bales, which is a good discussion to have. But if you want, I can just write that into the order of conditions, so we don't
A
have
standard order of condition
to. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to...
Thank you, Josh.
And I guess my only question is, you guys have gone straw wattle, straw bale, silt fence, no silt fence. If I'm gonna write it into the standard order, I'd like to have a standard.
What
method.
does a silt fence do, other than keep an animal out?
Keeps the silt in, right?
No, I mean,
No,
it's,
I would say normal erosion control practice is silt fence with straw, bale, or wattle in
Wattles.
front of it.
Both.
Usually
Usually
it's a
together.
combination of the two.
because there's not many sites that I go to that have been around for a while in which the silt fence is still upright, because it was mostly there to keep the turtles from coming onto a construction site. For some of them lower out on the point, there was an issue over the migration of the animals, and the silk fence was there to keep them from, they could climb over the wattle, well, they can't climb over the silk fence. And one of the conditions that it had to stay up because of the turtles. So it was just,
I thought it was for the silt.
No, yeah, I would say that was probably a one-off project where they
Okay, well,
wanted it for animals.
because there were a lot of turtles down there, and we were concerned with the construction site.
No, I would say normal practice is a combination of the two. And
Okay,
if that's what the commission wants.
which we
then-
saw in one of our plans tonight.
Correct.
Right. So I can write that into a standard order.
Silk
so you
fence
guys
and
don't
straw
have to
wattle.
How soon will that be effective?
Tomorrow.
Thank you. That sounds great.
Thank you.
So anything going forward from
We'll
tomorrow
have a standard order
will
with
be
a
just like,
combination silt fence, straw. I would rather put straw wattle and straw bale
Right.
because of ease of accessibility of people obtaining those.
Right.
I think they probably both pretty much will get you to the same goal.
Are we okay with the compost sock, too? I know that's a little different. If it just depends on the
You
applicant's
don't really
use.
see it much.
Yeah,
but-
right.
can you say the appropriate erosion control device or measures?
I would
think-
rather have it be more specific.
Subjective.
And how do
They
we,
might feel the appropriate is hay bale,
Yeah.
right? And then they look at their order of conditions and go, I've used hay bale on 900 projects in central Massachusetts and it hasn't been an issue. But,
okay,
Yeah.
anything else?
oh,
Are we agreed that, oh, sorry, were you finished?
yes.
That any project that comes that is not staked will not be heard that night?
We're hearing that,
Yes.
so
Have to be consistent.
now, do
it's
we,
it's my understanding that it should be staked Wednesday before our meeting.
Well, when does everybody normally go out?
Whenever we can.
Whenever I can.
could go Monday, Tuesday,
When the
Wednesday?
agenda comes out, we have access to the plans.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would not visit a site until I had the plans.
So
So,
I'd say the agenda generally comes out Thursday afternoon.
It was out in the newspaper, and then,
No,
Well, that's the ads.
that's the
The actual
ads.
agenda, I end up
That doesn't
posting
give us-
Thursday afternoon before the
Okay.
meeting.
The ads tell us where and what the project
Right.
is, but until the agenda is available, we can't see the
Right.
plans.
right, and that's about
So
You could, but yeah.
how? By coming into the office?
Or going on to Viewpoint. You have the address, you can look it up by address.
Oh, I don't know how to do that. I
Go
always,
on Viewpoint, that was in that letter 2 weeks ago, when there was an
So,
additional letter
wh-
about the Great Neck Road. Remember when the letter came from, I keep forgetting her name, Christine?
Yeah.
Sent us all a letter that there was an additional piece of information.
Oh, yes.
Remember? And
Okay,
she said,
so,
referred to Viewpoint, and I'm like, what's that?
so that's just the link that you click on your agenda.
I just get the thing from you, and it's, the blue one is.
Yep.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that drives
on
you
that.
to,
So
I didn't know its name.
we shall say that everything should be staked Thursday before the meeting.
does anybody go out earlier than that? And I
Sometimes.
think that.
Well, I can't go out until I see a plan.
Yeah, I mean, I wait till I have the info, otherwise sometimes I have a better window of time on days, like,
Right.
I mean,
Thursday-
sooner the better.
if you so choose, you could put a condition that says that it should be staked on the time of applying for an application.
Oh,
You could.
I know, but I think Thursday before the meeting is sufficient.
Yeah. But now I have a question
So
in
that leaves
in
us
reference
Wait,
to
wait,
that.
wait.
Well, because we meet every other week, it would be nice if, once the information goes to Josh or to the town, that we could have it then.
How do we get it if it's not, how do you get it? Not from, to me, the ad is not sufficient enough to tell me the
The
plans.
whole thing, sooner the better, because I might suddenly have a whole open day, and it'll be a
So
great
that's-
day to nail it.
The agenda's out Thursday,
Yep.
and we get everything Thursday before the meeting.
Now, the way we handle it at a meeting, do we not open the
We
meeting?
must open.
So we open it and then we continue it without discussion?
We could
Because
have-
we discussed.
We could have a discussion, but the idea is they've put the ad in place, the meeting the project must be opened because that's what the ad is.
Yeah.
And then we say we continue, but we could discuss, but we can't
But how
come
can
to.
we, my whole thing is, how can I intelligently discuss if I haven't been able to
Then you-
visibly see the
Then
project?
you hold it for the next meeting for when it's
Okay.
staked.
All
Because
right.
some of us might very well feel comfortable asking questions
Yeah.
without a stake in place.
But then we're discussing it twice at two different
Well, no,
meetings.
if, two different meetings,
Yeah.
two different meetings, two different concerns.
Too much.
Because if I have a question tonight and it's continued into next meeting, I'm not going to ask the same question again.
Right.
And just that you don't have any questions until it's staked, so,
What Paula Gina's saying is that she would rather just discuss it once.
Yeah, when we're
Instead
all,
of having
our heads
just-
are
well,
in that.
no, now, keep in mind, we've got some people who may have come in for a particular meeting. You don't tell them to go home.
Well,
If it wasn't staked, you
If it
do.
wasn't staked, you do.
Who's to say it's their neighbor?
Right.
Oh,
They
I
don't
see.
have to have it staked.
Out of butters.
We could very well have somebody online or in the, you can't say, I'm sorry you came down from Canton, but we can't have a discussion.
could certainly listen to someone else.
Yes, I mean, so that's why it continues to be opened, discussed, and closed, because there's no staking. So I can say, Josh,
You
you,
said closed, don't close it.
no, we have to continue it. So if you could let everybody know, they have to have it staked Thursday before the meetings, because we are going to say no. Continued until we see the actual site.
And I was reminded of that when I looked through the minutes, because it was a project that was approved, even though it wasn't staked within those last couple of meetings. It was I forget the names, it was out on Great Neck Road, the guy with the dogs.
The dog guy, right.
No, not the dog died, but he had
No,
a dog
yeah.
business.
Yeah, that was
Brady.
the business.
Brady,
I
Yeah.
don't remember
the
the
kennel.
name. The kennel.
15
Yeah.
Great Neck.
Yeah.
We were kind of feeling our
But-
way there. It was sort of a work in
And
progress.
Denise brought it up as she came back to a voting member, and she's right. We should be doing the same thing consistently with all our hearings. No staking, it's continued.
Very good.
Good.
Okay. But we will have discussion if we feel we have
Yes,
questions.
it's still an open hearing.
Can we talk a little bit about what you're requiring for staking? Like, my only thought process on this was, like 33 Mayflower Ridge, they had gone out, they staked the garage, but they didn't put stakes at the roadway for the driveway. And you
We need to-
continued them for that, so
We hit them
And the
because they
walkway.
didn't identify the walkway.
is it outlines of driveways, structures?
I would tend to think the corners of a structure
Okay.
is critical.
The
And if
drive-
there is a pathway where it's going to be disturbed.
So the boundaries of,
Well, I don't, if it's going to be a 3-foot wide, I don't want a stake on each side of the 3-foot wide. I'll have a stake in the middle to say this is the path I'm going to do.
Right. But
Common
on
sense
that
dictates.
one driveway, he didn't have the stakes on the road, so he had no idea where it was coming into the road,
Right.
from the road.
But
The whole
that
driveway.
stake was outside of our jurisdiction.
Yeah, but we still
But
need
it
to
was there for
see-
information, but
Correct.
it
We still
wasn't,
need to see what vegetation and stuff that is gonna be impacted, and, we need to see that kind of thing.
Okay.
to
Just trying to get an idea of
definitely,
More is better.
if I end up talking to these applicants before the meeting, at least I can give them a heads up, like, hey, I went out on Tuesday, it wasn't staked, expect a continuance tonight. Or
you went out
maybe-
Friday and it wasn't staked, you're going to be continued.
Right.
Thursday, I went out, it wasn't staked, it's going to be continued, because it could very well be someone went out Thursday and it wasn't staked, but everybody who went out after Friday, it was staked.
It's not fair.
So if anybody goes out and finds it not staked, it's continued.
so what about a time, so Thursday 5 PM, Thursday noon?
Thursday,
Thursday
Sunup.
AM, because some people go
AM,
out in
okay.
the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't
I
get
go out-
my agenda until Thursday evening, generally.
Oh, so
I
then
don't
it would,
normally send them out until 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock on Thursday.
so then we're not saying that they have to be staked on Thursday, we're saying they have to be
Maybe
staked
No.
by
say
Friday
morning, it
morning.
would
I want it staked on Thursday.
End of day Thursday.
No, beginning of day.
They could
because-
stake it without us having the
End of day
agenda.
Wednesday then.
End of day Wednesday.
Yes.
Day Wednesday.
Because some of us can take a look at a ad and have a hint where this is going to be. It's not out, I'm going to put a shed on the corner of my house.
Oh, that was my other question. When did the no activity zone come into effect? What year was that?
2016.
2016, so anything prior to that? Okay, 2016 was the end.
But it's four corners,
Yeah.
especially if it's out in the middle of the yard. You know, someone's putting a shed at the edge of their property. I'm putting on a porch 5 feet from my house.
Right.
If I see it Thursday, I have a good hint where that's going to be, but
And the same with the driveway, the corners on the driveway, but the path, you can just do the line up the middle.
yeah, I mean, it's, be reasonable
Yeah,
with the staking. I
So
can,
Wednesday close of business is great, because it's 1 week before the meeting.
yes.
right.
Easy.
So, so it's there Thursday morning, should anybody else, should we go out?
Okay, thinking of other projects that come before the commission. I think it's already in the bylaw for docks to have a stake on land and
And
a
it-
buoy in
and it-
the water.
And the buoy in the water to tell, show us the length of the dock.
Trees, do you want those flagged?
I want them
Marked?
flagged if the trees are to be removed.
So okay, so how would
It's-
you like them marked?
It's nice to if they put a ribbon around it.
Ribbon around it, okay?
As opposed to spray paint, for example, that
Oh.
would presume removal.
Yeah,
Yeah, and somebody nailed, what were you saying?
yeah, the one on Agawam Lake Shore, they,
Those
Joe was
white
saying they
tags in
nailed,
it.
they
Yeah.
nailed something in.
so I want something around the tree that definitely says, I'm being removed, whether it's a ribbon or a orange tape or,
What about for subsurface structures, septic tanks, dry
want the out-
wells?
I want,
Same thing, you
I
want
want the
four
corners, yes.
Okay,
Be good to know.
Because sometimes those septic systems are in the middle of the yard.
yep. Do you want, stakes labeled? So that when you go out there, it's,
That's very helpful.
Yeah, because I read them
Usually
all.
they are.
Right corner, left corner, north corner, south.
I was thinking more of what the structure was.
Yeah,
Garage,
house, garage.
septic, house,
Absolutely.
Reasonable.
reasonable labeling of stakes.
That's it.
Not a whole bunch of letters, we don't know what they stand for.
What else? Anything?
Is there a place for marking the ground with, that's that pink spray paint or orange spray paint?
That stuff will...
It washes away.
Okay.
It washes away.
That stuff was gone, yeah.
And by having it only a week, requiring it only a week ahead of time, it should negate the issue where the gentleman pulled them out to mow his lawn.
Yeah.
I think they can go a week without mowing their lawn.
Well, they've done that, hurt one property already. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, anything else?
Got it.
Josh, are we ready? Anybody else? Somebody? Quickly.
Move to close the hearing.
Close the hearing.
I have a motion to close, motion to adjourn the meeting at, and I have a second at 8 o'clock. That's the motion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained? Thank you very much.
Thank you.